can't help going into Oneledger. Guys, let's go in and welcome back again to the Cryptovader Show. You guys know that my favorite sector in investing is actually blockchain. I love fast blockchains, and I've already done a review on QuarkChain, but I also love cross blockchain, and Oneledger is the one that I have chosen for you today to make a review. So come on guys, let's go in and I want to see you on the inside.
So today we are going to review an ICO of Oneledger. Now this ICO is kind of unique because it emphasizes on enterprise applications, okay? And by enterprise applications, I would also include not only enterprise, which is companies, but I would also include in the state of the blockchain now, companies and also government applications. This is what has gotten me really curious about this ICO. So, and they name it as the blockchain for enterprise, which is cool because if you are doing something for the enterprise, and the enterprise can include government here, just as I mentioned, then you would want a higher level of security, right? You would at least want to know who you are dealing with. So I'm going to apply the same six factors that I used in order to evaluate this ICO. This is the same formula that I used last year to take 20,000 US dollars to 1 million in a matter of 4 months, or rather 80,000 ringgit to 4 million in a matter of 4 months. And these are the investigation of the sector, the hype, the use case, the tokenomics, the roadmap, and also the intelligence, which is the people, because ultimately we are here essentially as ICO investors, we are essentially venture capitalists, okay? And when we are a venture capitalist and we decide which company to invest in, it all ultimately boils down to the people. So Oneledger, when you talk about Oneledger, I think this is the a really dream application, okay, because this will allow a lot of enterprise applications to migrate into the blockchain. And when we talk about enterprise application, one name really comes to mind, which is SAP, okay? SAP is really the king of enterprise applications. Of course, currently, if you have an enterprise applications or you have many enterprise applications, then those of you who are in the IT sector knows that in order to integrate this all, you would use IBM WebSphere. So I would like to say that this Oneledger is really a direct replacement for IBM WebSphere, okay? In order to deploy enterprise applications like SAP or maybe Oracle, and also to integrate many government applications. Because government applications are very different from enterprise applications. Usually they work with a lot of kind of software. In Malaysia, Microsoft is very popular, so I'm sure that Oneledger here is able also to handle applications from Microsoft, okay? So let's go ahead and let's take a look in more detail of this ICO then. So this is a summary of a Oneledger, which is, I think is quite cool. And it says here that, you know, Oneledger is a universal blockchain. Okay, guys, it's a universal blockchain enabling cross-ledger access to business modularization. Let's take this out here for a little bit now. It's targeted toward enterprises to apply distributed ledger technology seamlessly for business application. Now, that's very rare because, you know, if we want to do something that, especially if I'm an enterprise, I'm not going to replace all my applications, right? I want to work it seamlessly with, okay? I want to work it seamlessly with my existing applications. Because I've invested millions, you know, some of these organizations have invested millions in all these ERP applications. I want it to work with those applications. So this is very important because this is where you can deploy dApps in different languages to a master smart contract. And this is how companies can create their own community. You know, businesses and individuals can create public and private blockchains, have own uniquely defined network consensus, as role control with PKI now. PKI is really public key infrastructure, so it allows us to know the various players in the network. Okay, and one sector where knowing who you're dealing with is important is something like, you know, government services, right? You want to know whether the guy on the other side is really a government official. Or even in medical, man, you want to know the guy on the other side is really a doctor. So this is quite a very comprehensive design here, because with this you can create your own community with their own digital wallet. Okay, look at this, guys, their own community own digital wallet and also credit system. Now the only thing that I have quite some worry or that I have to look in more detail is that the risk is in deploying this application, because if you are going into this ICO and it's going to be accepted into enterprise applications, you have to know that enterprise applications require a long period of testing, okay? But the good thing about this ICO, if they can go through this, if they have the right people in order to pull this off, then I am sure that this has very, very significant upside. Okay, this has superb upside. And if you look at the architecture here, it's quite clever, you know, because you have the Oneledger protocol here and it connects to different types of applications. And through the side chains here, which is blockchain, Ethereum, Hyperledger, you can also connect it to the blockchain network. So this will finally allow organizations to finally be able to migrate to the blockchain without investing a lot in going in and also changing their enterprise applications. And this is very important if we're going to get traction inside enterprise applications, which I think is an all new territory altogether. Okay, so let's look at the Oneledger homepage. You can go here, you can join the Telegram group, and you can also view the white paper here. You see here the architecture. Let's see this. It enables you to focus on building your business application through Oneledger modularization tools using this API gateway. Excellent, okay? And you see here there's a consensus protocol here. It's a 3-layer consensus protocol to enable more effective integration of different blockchain applications. And the key word here is effective integration, okay? Effective integration of different blockchain applications. It's difficult to do integration, but different blockchain application is very, very crucial. And business logic can be implemented by the first layer, a configurable role-based consensus protocol. So here's another keyword here, role-based, because inside the organization or inside a corporate organization or government organization, you want to know who A is, you want to know who B is, you want to know who C is, you want to know who their roles are. Okay, like B could be reporting to A, and then you have another guy here. This guy might be a bad actor. Okay, this guy might be a bad guy. And if you don't have this role-based thing, then this guy can enter into this ecosystem. But however, if you identify him as a bad actor, then you can just zap him and he can't get in. Very important for enterprise applications. So here are the highlights: business modularization, protocol-based blockchain communication, high-performance transaction, and multi-chain runtime support. Okay, so this is very important. And if we want to know more, what we need to do is let's just go and have a look at the white paper here. Can we get more information here? It's a very nicely written white paper here, okay? Look at the table of contents here. It's quite simple. I like the way they describe it. It's not complex as in other applications here. You look at here, this is how they make it happen across multiple blockchains. There, consensus across chains. This is the architecture that I like. I like this architecture because it is easy for me to understand. You have the various applications here. You have the Oneledger protocol, the side chains, and then finally the blockchain network. Fair enough, it looks very, very simple. And through a smart identity management platform, we are able to recognize who is who and establish a web of trust combined with PKI, public key infrastructure. And through this, the blockchain services, chain code services, okay, chain code services in order for us to run our business applications. And more importantly, there is a programming interface that allows business developers, okay, developers of the applications running in businesses like ERP and all that, to actually develop new applications or integrate applications on their software development kit. And there it is. And this is quite cool. Okay, this is really quite cool. It's a very simple architecture. If you look at this this white paper, so this is great. Okay, so and I like this architecture because I think it is a very clever architecture, and they actually have the right team for this. How they can come up with a very simple architecture is they have a right team that are really experienced in development of enterprise application and also in integrating this application. And we're going to see the team later, okay guys? So it's a very clever architecture because it bridges and integrates different blockchain contracts through hash time lock contracts. Now you might ask, what is a hash time lock contract? What is that? Well, basically what it means is, you're sending transactions and you're imposing time limits. Okay, you're imposing time limits on that transaction to be executed. For example, only send transaction after block a certain block is already executed. Okay, it uses Ethereum dApps with smart contract, updates the state with the consensus model, and it has a hub for bridging the interoperability of the dApp. And also there's a Oneledger, a side chain, which we saw previously, which integrates back into the main blockchain. So the consensus protocol that they use is PBFT consensus. This is also very clever because you need 2/3 to agree to the validity of the proposal. And I like this a lot because this is one of the earlier protocols that was even used in Bitcoin. So again, if you are going to deploy enterprise applications, let me tell you something that a lot of enterprises, a lot of large companies especially, having invested millions into their applications, are not going to follow you if you start using new technology because they do not want the risk. So what Oneledger has done is correctly use something that has already been proven and adjust it, okay, and adjust it to the current application. So the original version is really about permission based, and now they're making it permissionless. So they've essentially modified a permission scheme into a permissionless scheme. And what this answers is really, what if, we're in Malaysia, we have our own companies using certain kind of applications. On the other hand, people in Indonesia might be using other types of applications. People in the United States, of course, you guys are probably more advanced and you're using different types of applications, as is the people in Japan, which have their own way of doing work and their own way of doing manufacturing and all that. So this Oneledger really answers this really pressing question that you can find. What if the blockchain come from different countries? What if they're developed in different countries? Can they be put together into a seamless whole that can be interoperating together, especially when you consider that there's a lot of applications, okay? There's a lot of applications that have to be localized. Again, this answers really the pressing question of how do we localize our application? Because this is what essentially makes the application valuable. This is what essentially gives traction to the application and builds a user base. And again, Oneledger is here to fill in this very unique requirement here. So again, you can read all about it here. So I'm going to go through an example of a use case here. I have 2 use cases which I'm going to apply for Malaysia. Okay, I'm going to apply this for Malaysia. Now, one of the unique features of Malaysia is our health system. It's one of the best in the world, but it's also one of the cheapest in the world. I think it's number 2 or number 3, if I'm not mistaken. Probably the best and probably the cheapest also in the world is from Cuba. So Malaysia is quite close because just to go to a clinic in Malaysia, it's very cheap. If you go to a government clinic, it costs about RM1 or 25 cents US, okay, RM1. And if you go to a specialist, and specialists can be very expensive in the States and all that. It only costs $5 or no, 5 ringgit, sorry. It only costs 5 ringgit, or just divide that by 4, okay? US 125 to get a consultation from a specialist. And in order to do this, you know, the government builds a lot of hospitals, but we also put in a lot of systems in the hospital, and we have a referral system, you know, which can go, you know, you go to a clinic, they might refer you to, this is of course primary care, where you go and see the doctor in the clinic. They might refer you to a government hospital, or sometimes you have people going into private hospitals, but if the private hospitals do not have enough expertise, then they will refer you again to a government hospital. You have ambulance services, okay, ambulance services. Now, the challenge that Malaysia has had for many, many years, and I think this is a good 20 years, man. So I'm actually glad that Oneledger has this concept out already for 20 years, is that how do you integrate all the systems, you know, the clinics, which can be private or which can be government owned, the private hospitals, the government hospitals, and the ambulance services. How do we give a better experience to our citizen? Considering that everyone's running on a different system, and the attempts for the past 20 years to integrate this into one national project have failed, okay? Total hospital information system, and effort in the late 1990s, as well as telemedicine, also an effort in the late 1990s. This was projects under the multimedia super corridor, have all failed, okay? Have all failed, and it's quite a pity, because such projects, if successful, could make really a difference in changing the lives of Malaysians. So the good thing about Oneledger is, I think that with Oneledger, if applied correctly, it will finally be able to tie all these disparate applications together. And one of the specialties of Oneledger is that it's all about business processes. Again, I was referring to the role of the different actors, like each one has a role. And if you can define the business process, say from a clinic, referring, or from an ambulance, you know, referring to an ambulance to take a guy to a public hospital, that could be good, okay? And you just define it within this using the existing applications. And of course, you have an interaction to the side chain, so maybe they could even pay, they could even pay for their services through cryptocurrency, okay? And the cryptocurrency could also be used to power the network involved in this. Another way is, of course, role-based teleconsultation. Malaysia is a very big country. We have a lot of areas which are very difficult to get access, but it is easier to put an internet line in these areas rather than to build very expensive facilities in this area. So that's where telecom consultation is good, really. And this ability of Oneledger to develop business processes is something that I think is a godsend. And of course, we talked about referral systems. And one thing, another challenge that we have in the Malaysian health system is, of course, the transfer or the sharing of patient medical records. Now, this is very, very sensitive because everyone is concerned about security. But if we have Oneledger working here as a blockchain, okay, a blockchain that integrates all together these applications, then what we could have is a system to transfer medical records around these various organizations here in a very secure manner, going through this API gateway. And I think this is super, that it can finally bring Malaysia's healthcare system onto an entirely different ledger. So using Oneledger, disparate systems can be integrated, providing seamless movement of people and medical records from primary care to secondary care and even to tertiary care, okay? An entire system that looks at the entire process and handles it seamlessly from one step to the next. Yet another application that I think is very useful is for the use of government services. And when you talk about government services, the challenge is, of course, about the identity management. The government needs to know who we are, and if it can identify that, then us as citizens should be able to go in and access various government services, like this is the transportation department. This is the department that gives a lot of social welfare department that gives a lot of help to the poor people. This is immigration. This is our national registration department. So Malaysia's government has been embracing electronic government since the 1990s. This is when we launched our multimedia super corridor. But once again, we have many solutions. Okay, we have many solutions. And the question that comes to light is, how in the world do we integrate the solution? Of course, when you integrate the solutions, all you need to do is be able to have a common ID. Now, there was another failed attempt to have a common ID earlier. There was supposed to be a common email for everyone, a government email for everyone. And through that email and through that ID given, we would be able to act or to interact with various government services. Now, I don't think we need that now, because through Oneledger, we could establish an ID here in Oneledger, and this ID could then be used to access all the different services. And this ID is, of course, in the blockchain. It's immutable. I mean, if I die, it should be very difficult or almost impossible for someone else to use it. So, of course, the ID is already available. They're on our My Card, and if you put it on this Oneledger platform, then it can also give us access based on our role in the society. Okay, so some of us are citizens, some of us are workers. We could be foreign workers, and some of us are permanent residents. So all government departments can then be integrated in communications through Oneledger and through one common ID and role play, okay, because citizens should be able to do more than non-citizens, obviously. This allows us to use or interact with the government and consume government services in an integrated manner. Now, the only thing that for Malaysia is Oneledger should be able to add a side chain for NEM, okay, because NEM seems to be the blockchain that is being favored by Malaysia, and this is done through the Malaysian Digital Economy Corporation, MDEC, which I worked there before. So I don't think this is a big problem, so we just need to establish another side chain. So you can see that from my description that there's a lot of advantages to using Oneledger. However, I do understand after reading the white paper that we are still lacking an MVP here, a minimum viable product or prototype. So really the ability of Oneledger to help a lot of people, which includes enterprises and also governments, really depends on their people. So we really need smart people here. So in order to evaluate this ICO, we really need to go into, the people that are part of this ICO and see if they can execute. Do you have the right people to execute? Now let's go to here, David Cow here. Let's see who he is. Of course, you go this through LinkedIn. Okay, so I've looked at several of the guys here, and I'm really impressed with Pareto, right? 80-20 law. I like to apply the 80-20 law here. In fact, because if you have a team of very good people, 80%, 20%, you have a team of very good people, all you need is, if these two people are really, really top superstars, and then you have very good people in the team, they should be able to pull off this job. So let's look at David Cow here. He's founder and CEO, blockchain innovator and architect, Oneledger Technology. Wow, he's from the University of Science and Technology of China, based in Toronto, Canada now. Let's see his history here. Founder and CEO. Oh, he's also the chairman of the Canada-China Blockchain Professional Organization. Now, this is good because there's a lot of innovation going on in China now. He was the lead commerce consultant at Xerox. This is interesting. He was a WebSphere commerce architect. So as I said just now, WebSphere is from IBM, and this is the champion in integration. So it's clear that David has a lot of experience in integration, because you don't want a blockchain guy just coming here saying I can integrate all this. The advantage that David has is that he has done this before through another application called WebSphere. This is super awesome, okay? Let's see more of his history here. From the University of Science and Technology in China, computer science. Excellent, guys, excellent. So let's look at other stuff here. This is Alex Todd, Stephen Lee, lead engineer, Edwin Zhang, managing director. Let's go and look at Stephen Lee. Yeah, I like to look at the lead engineers, guys, the technical guys that are going to make this happen. Blockchain and smart contract developer. He's from the University of Electronic Science and Technology in Montreal, okay? Quebec, Canada. Okay, he's a lead engineer here. Founder Services Informatics, Yang Lee, consultant in Morgan Stanley. Oh my God, what's he doing there? He was a full stack web developer there at Morgan Stanley. So clearly he has experience in the financial services industry, consultant for Deutsche Bank. This is good because, you know, when you talk about one chain, it's always about one chain. No, the off chain rather for Oneledger. It's always about establishing this wallet and also this payment services. Okay, software developer at Tech Systems. Let's look more at their team here. So let's go back, and you really have to look at the team, okay, guys, because this is quite a very ambitious project, and you want the best guys in here. So one of the best guys that I've found here is this guy here. Let's go down and then look for more people on this. Okay, let's go look at advisor here. Yeah, Matthew Neimer. Let's go and see him. Okay, let's go and see him. He is, there he is. Let's wait. Distributed Ledger Technology Concept, Coinbar Group, Colorado State University. Now, he looks like a very, very intelligent guy, co-founder Coinbar Group, scientific advisory board member, Helix Cognitive Computing. And look at this, distributed ledger technology and security advisor for Turnio. Yes, he's also advisor here for all of this. Education, Colorado State University. He is a PhD, guys, in mathematics. It is not easy to get a PhD here. Eastern Illinois University, Bachelor of Arts, Mathematics. And look at this score, guys. This is a genius, okay? This is a super genius. And, you know, we are very confident when we see this. Look at that. 3.93 summa cum laude, Bachelor of Science, Eastern Illinois University, 3.93 summa cum laude. And now he has his doctorate. So this is what we want, because what I like when we are doing new projects like this, I like a combination of, again, academia plus industry. So what I see here is this guy provides the support in terms of academia, and David Cow provides the support in terms of industry with the experience in web sphere, okay, with the experience in web sphere, which is very important because you have to have both if you are doing an ambitious project like this. So I think this is really, guys, this is really about, these are the leaders, okay, now the others are also good, but this is really about the David, okay, the David and Matthew team. It's awesome, okay, the David and Matthew team, which provides the base for us to be very, very confident that this project will be very, very successful in the future, despite it not having, okay, despite it not having an MVP now. So at the end of the day, what do we do with this? What is the conclusion? Now everyone is waiting for this, right? You're going to say, yeah, or nay, Crypto Vader, you said to us that, hey, if the project doesn't have MVP, don't go in. Crypto Vader, don't go in here. Crypto Vader, we shouldn't believe in this. You always said this. Hey. What I said before is what I said before. Now, a lot of people of you that always come and ask me that on my emphasis for an MVP before I consider investing in a project, it's not only about the MVP. I have to also consider the idea. Now, if the idea is very advanced, or if the idea is very, very good, or if the idea is ahead of its time, then I don't think they're going to have an MVP, right? So what I need now, if if we're going through a white paper, I need to be confident of the people that are going to eventually execute this project. And as I said, I'm very confident of this team because it has industry and it also has academic, this one, right? It also has academic experience, okay? So what I'm gonna do here is that I am gonna give you, I know you're shocked, I am gonna give you a go ahead, okay? A go ahead, because as I said, I'm from the IT industry. I was a salesman in the IT industry, working for a company called EMC. Yes, the storage giant. I know that, you know, eventually, you know, business applications are a very big area, guys. Business applications are a very big area, and I just don't see a lot of ICOs like this that are able to integrate, okay? That are able to integrate business applications. So, although there is a risk, okay, a risk of this maybe being not successful, the upside is so big, okay? The upside is so big here. If they can achieve that, the hype will be so big and we will get returns many, many times. I mean, this to me is basically the reward of being the first to market, okay? See this, the first to market. So I am going to say a go for this. And I know you're surprised. I know you're surprised, but I have done my homework. It's quite a detailed homework, and I have put the faith in these people in order for us to go really into this ICO, okay? And you go to the site here, you can even look here at the token distribution, okay? You can look here more detail for the token distribution, token supply, a billion, soft cap 4 million, hard cap 15 million USD. They already got about 1 million USD in the seed round, vesting period of 6 months with monthly cliffs for the bonus implemented in smart contract. They had a private pre-sale of 6 million, private pre-sale of 3 million, and a public sale of 5 million USD. Now I like this because they are locking up some of these tokens, okay? I don't like, you know, founders and all that easily coming out of projects once they are successful. Again, I don't like also founders selling out the company once they have collected the money, okay? So it's good here that we have a team reserve vesting period of 24 months with quarterly cliffs, okay? Advisor reserve 12 months, that's good for me. Company reserve lock for the first 6 months, followed by a vesting period of 18 months, okay? So again, they have several good partners here, such as Polymath, yes, Polymath, Quay Capital, and Signal Ventures and Crypto Capital Group. So this is quite something that we need faith here, but I like it that they are going into a new area. Again, this is an ICO where they are going into a new area with very high upside, okay, with high upside. So and I am now approving this ICO for my personal investment. Now, of course, as I have told you before, if you want to go into this ICO, I am not a financial advisor. This is for me, and this video is meant for educational purposes. Please do your own research. Please read the white paper and make your decision and be accountable for decision. And with that, all I need to say is, okay, David, this is your show. Take it and let's go to the moon, guys. Let's go to the moon.